Okay, I live in Texas, and this week it hit below 90 degrees, so we're gonna make some chicken and dumplings because it's fall weather, apparently. So your first step is to get a chicken. We're going to remove its legs, its wings, its breast, and we're gonna try to dig these thighs out. We're going to coat them in paprika and put them on a lined baking dish, and then we're gonna put the carcass in a pot of water with some spices and make our own stock. So first step, butcher this. Okay, so here's our chicken. I already took off one leg. It's right here, one leg, plus the thigh. So now we're gonna do the other one. So you get you a good sharp knife. Hold your leg. Oh. Cut that piece of skin. Keep cutting until all of this nice skin and fat is separated. There is a joint in here. It's gonna sound gross, but you bend it back until the bone pops up. See that bone? And then you take your knife and can you still see the chicken? Okay, you're gonna take your knife and you're gonna cut like this until it's completely separated. And then we're gonna have another chicken, this is called a leg quarter. Just like that. So now we have 2 leg quarters. Okay, you can pause it. So here's our chicken sans legs. We're about to remove these breasts and these wings. Here's our leg quarters. I put them on a greased baking dish. We're going to cover them in smoked paprika and bake them in the oven at 350 for about 20, maybe 30 minutes. I don't want them to be cooked all the way through because we're going to take the meat off and put them into our chicken and dumplings. But leg quarters, now we're going to take off the breast and the wings. Camera. Okay, so now we're going to remove the wing. It's the same concept as the leg. We're going to cut out the skin first. There's a joint in there. You're not hurting the chicken, obviously, he's dead. But there's a little bit of cartilage in there. You're going to cut it out. I'm using a boning knife, by the way. And then you have a wing. So we're going to put the wing.
Can I see?
Okay, pause it.
Pause it.
Pause it. Okay, so now we're going to do the breasts. We have both of our legs and both of our wings. There's a little membrane here that you can pull and separate. And then you're going to put your knife underneath and follow along the rib cage. You can actually hear it kind of rub it up against the rib cage. Okay. And I missed some meat, but it's okay because we're going to put this in a pot and make stock. Breast with the skin because we're going to roast it in the oven. Okay, off. So here's our carcass. There is still a lot of meat on here, but it's okay because I'm going to put it in water with spices and it's going to take all this fat and cook down into a stock. And then I'll use a fork and take off all of this meat. So this meat won't be wasted. It's just going to help make the stock. So here's our carcass. We're going to put it into our pot. This is just water, and I'm going to add some spices to it. All of our pieces that we cut off. We did 2 leg quarters, 2 wings, breast. This breast lost its skin. It's okay. And this is just some extra meat from that breast. I'm going to coat this in smoked paprika and put it in the oven to bake. Once it comes out, I'll chop and pull all the meat off of all of this, and we're going to add it to our stock to make our chicken and dumplings. So here's our chicken. I just coated it with some smoked paprika, some sea salt, and some black pepper. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350. It does not have to cook all the way through because I'm going to shred it and put it into a soup. So here's the beginning of our stock. Our carcass is in here. This is about 100 fluid ounces of water. We're going to add just some smoked paprika. We're going to add some ground black pepper. We're going to add some onion powder and some garlic powder. And then a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to mix this in, and then I'm just going to let it boil and boil and boil and boil and cook down and reduce. And then I'll strain out the carcass and the fluids, and this will be my stock for my chicken and dumplings. Okay, while your stock is reducing, chop 1 medium-sized onion. That was about 2 handfuls of carrots. I'll give you the exact measurement after I get them chopped, and a handful of celery. Again, I will give you the exact measurement after I get everything chopped. So chop all this up and have it sitting to the side for when we strain out our chicken stock. It's starting to look a little creepy, but it's smelling delicious. As you can see, we're going to pull all that meat off of this chicken once it's done. So I chopped up 1 medium onion. This is 2 cups of chopped carrots and about 1.5 cups of celery. So I'm just going to set this to the side until my stock is ready. Optionally, chop up 2 medium-sized potatoes. It comes to about 1 cup each, so 2 cups of potatoes to add to your veggies. This is optional because with chicken and dumplings, you're going to have dumpling, so you already have 1 starch. I always add potatoes because I grew up in a big family, and it just keeps you full longer. So optionally, chop up 2 potatoes peeled and add them to your veggie mixture. The next step is pretty self-explanatory. You just strain your broth through a colander and then pour it through a mesh strainer into your stock pot. Add all your veggies back and bring this to a simmer. Take your chicken out of the oven and start picking all of the meat off of the carcass and then dice your chicken. So here's my carcass. Obviously I picked it clean. The meat's in here. I already chopped up my 2 breasts. I'm dismantling a chicken wing right now. I'm pulling all of the meat off and I'm going to shred it and put it in this bowl. And then we're going to add it to our chicken stock that I've added our vegetables to. So it's at a nice rolling boil. We're going to add our chicken in here and then we're just going to cook it down until our veggies get soft. And then we're going to add our dumplings. Okay, here's the last of my chicken. This is the legs and the thighs. These are all my bones and carcass and the skin. Some of the skin can be chopped and put in. The majority of the skin I pull off because it grosses me out. So carcass, bones, and skin in a pile. This is a leg. Bam. I'm going to put this in a pot with water and boil it and make stock to go in the freezer. Here's more meat. I'm going to rough chop it real quick and add it to my bowl of meat. Then this bowl will go into my pot. So let's go. Here's all of our chicken going into our rolling boil pot with our stock. And our vegetables, obviously go slow. Ooh, steamy. There you go, guys. Get this nice stir. And then I'm just going to let this cook and reduce down until my vegetables are soft. And then we'll add the dumplings. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. Also, pro tip, here's our soup. Here's our drippings from our roasted chicken. Just add it in there. I promise it'll make all the difference. I want to talk about this for a minute. I know you just watched me make my own stock, but don't feel like you have to. You can buy stock. Stock that you buy is just as good. Oh, that's a lie. That is totally a lie. Homemade stock is so much better, but don't feel like you have to make stock. Also, don't feel like you have to butcher yourself a chicken. If you're comfortable with chicken breast, just use chicken breast and dice them up. I will promise you though, if you make the effort and take the extra time, this is going to be the best chicken and dumplings you ever eat. But don't feel like you have to do it my way. You can totally buy store-bought stock and just use chicken breast, buy store-bought vegetables pre-cut, use frozen stuff if that's what you're comfortable with. This is just giving you a basic how to do it, okay? Use what you're comfortable with. Don't be overwhelmed. This is not scary. This is easy. Okay, our chicken and dumplings have been simmering for about 30 minutes, so we're going to make our dumplings. We're going to need 1 3/4 cup of white flour, some black pepper, some salt, and then you're just going to add just a little bit of milk. As you can see, I'm not doing a measurement. And then you're going to use your hands and mix this up. Okay, we're going to mix your flour and salt and pepper and milk up using your hand until you get it to like this consistency. And then you're going to go over the top of your pot and drop little flakies into your pot. I'll show you. Just like this. Boop. 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 Do all of your dumpling dough. Just like that. This should be what it looks like once you've done all your little globs of dumpling. As you can see, they're all different shapes. I just pour the last of the little bit of flour on top Now we're going to reduce the heat and just let this simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes and then stir it. Do not stir it until you've let it simmer for a little bit, otherwise you'll break up your dumplings. So I'm just going to put the lid on it and let this bad boy simmer for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. And then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. It's been 10 minutes. Give your chicken and dumplings a good stir. And then just let this sit on your stove on a low simmer, low heat until you're ready for dinner. I have found that chicken and dumplings is actually best the next day. So here we go. Good dumplings. Like I said, I'm just going to turn this down to a low simmer and just let it simmer all day. And then we'll eat it for dinner tonight.